Human history is filled with stories of extraordinary resilience against almost overwhelming odds. Resilience is the ability to face adversity and come out from the experience stronger and more determined. It's about bouncing back from setbacks and being okay with the difficult times. Fewer stories better exemplify this fact than the story of Jean Hilliard. In what looks like it was taken straight out of the pages of a sci-fi book, Jean Hilliard was found frozen alive on a cold winter day, and her story can only be described as incredible. Welcome back, YARO Crime. Today, we'll be taking a look at the story of Jean Hilliard and her miraculous escape from death. Before we continue, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell to stay updated with our latest videos. In December 1980, Jean Hilliard, then 19 years old, lived in the small village of Lengby, Minnesota. The settlement, which has a population of only 87 as of 2017, is located in the north-central region of the state, surrounded by lakes and forests. Jean Hilliard's story is one of survival, against all odds. Hilliard was traveling home from a night out with friends in minus 22-degree temperatures. At around midnight on December 20, 1980, in a remote area of Lengby. In Lengby, young folks frequently spent the evening at the Fosston American Legion, since it was the hippest place to be for locals, and this was the location that Hilliard left on that winter night. Since it lacked anti-lock brakes and had rear-wheel drive, her dad's Ford LTD was hazardous to drive on a frozen icy road, and on that very frigid winter night in Lengby, Minnesota, Hilliard's car skidded off the road and crashed into a ditch. She managed to crawl out of the car, and she tried to start walking to try and get assistance for herself and the automobile in the ditch. At this point, she was only 2 kilometers away from her friend, Wally Nelson. But to Hilliard, the distance between Nelson's house and hers that evening felt far greater than she could recall. Everything went dark as she finally caught a glimpse of lights from Wally's place. Nelson woke up at around 7 in the morning, alongside the girl he spent the night, and looked at his snow-covered lawn, where he saw a little hunk around 15 feet from his door in a coat and mittens. Nelson could recognize Hilliard without much fuss, as she was dating his best buddy at the time. But nothing could prepare him for the sight he was about to see. When he got to where the little hunk was, he saw Hilliard, dressed in a coat and mittens, frozen solid on his front lawn with her eyes wide open. It seemed she had fallen and collapsed as a result of the bitter cold. Only a few seconds before, she would have arrived at her friend's door. Be that as it may, finding a frozen body in his front yard was a shocking end to the evening, especially when they learned that Hilliard's body was so stiff that it wouldn't fit into the cab of Nelson's pickup truck. And so they had to take the car of the woman Nelson spent the night with instead. They drove as fast as they could to the nearest hospital in Fosston. By the time she was found, Hilliard had been buried alive in the snow for 6 hours, and doctors were not optimistic about reviving Jean Hilliard, as they believed she had no chance of survival. To the attending medical staff, the teenager's prognosis was not very good. They also faced various challenges while attempting to treat her. For example, they couldn't puncture her skin with hypodermic needles because it was so cold. The temperature was about minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit at the time, and the wind chill factor made it feel even colder, which made the needles break as soon as they touched her skin. Her body temperature was so low that a thermometer couldn't even read it. Her eyes didn't react to changes in light, and her face was an ashen gray tone. Hilliard's condition was critical, and the doctors knew that they needed to act quickly if they were to save her life. They first placed her in a warm bath to try and raise her body temperature. However, despite their efforts, her body temperature remained dangerously low. They then tried to warm her up using heating pads, even though they believed she had passed away. But again, they had little success. But again, one would wonder, why would they have to keep heating her up even when they were not optimistic about her chances of being revived? The University of Minnesota's Dr. David Plummer is a specialist in reviving those who have hypothermia. a condition in which the body shuts down as a result of becoming too cold. Over the course of his career, he has dealt with around a dozen cases of reviving the frozen. Said, "We have patients you can knock on like wood. They feel rock solid frozen. That in no way dissuades us from a resuscitation attempt. And we do have a track record of success with that. No one is dead until they're warm and dead." According to medical research, blood flow decreases as a person's body cools, much like it would for a bear hibernating. A person's body needs less oxygen at this phase. A person frequently recovers when their blood flow and body temperature both rise at the same rate. When the heating pads were applied to Jean Hilliard, something happened which Plummer described as nothing short of a miracle. In modern medicine, a unique apparatus is used to heat a patient's blood before reintroducing it to their body. Internal organs are thus heated by the warm blood. This same technique has been used severally on different patients. In an effort to obtain a miracle, a family gathered to pray. At that time, Jean Hilliard's temperature was 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 10 degrees below normal according to doctors. The doctors made the decision to act more quickly. They inserted Hilliard into a unique device known as a bear hover. The bear hover machine swiftly raised the patient's body temperature by blowing warm air all around them. Hilliard was one of the first people to receive it at the time, as it was still an experimental therapy. Hilliard's body temperature started to increase shortly after the machine started to function. They eventually detected a weak pulse of 12 beats per minute, after which she started experiencing severe convulsions. It was at this point the doctor believed that she had a chance of being alive. She later regained consciousness 2 hours later. It appears that she had alcohol in her blood, which kept her organs from becoming permanently damaged by keeping them from freezing. Though a little disoriented, she was in excellent physical and mental health. Hilliard began to experience spasms in the middle of that morning. She was speaking clearly at midday and worried about her father's reaction to crashing his automobile. To the physician's amazement, even the frostbite on the feet slowly disappeared. According to the words of George Sather, the attending physician, "I thought she was dead. But then we picked up an extremely faint whimper. We knew there was a person existing then." The reaction didn't appear until 2 or 3 hours after she started thawing out. Dr. Sather affirmed the body was cold, completely solid, just like a piece of meat out of a deep freeze. Hilliard felt normal, and the entire incident turned out to be just a minor speed bump in her life's journey. She remarked, "I feel like I went to sleep and woke up in the hospital. I failed to notice the light or anything similar. It was somewhat depressing. Yet despite hearing so much about it, I found nothing." However, Jean Hilliard was a miracle to everyone else. She was discharged from the hospital after 49 days without losing a single finger and with no permanent brain or physical injuries. Hilliard's story quickly made headlines around the world. Her survival against all odds inspired people everywhere. She became a symbol of strength and courage, and her story became an inspiration to many. She was invited to speak at events and conferences, sharing her incredible story of survival. Today, Jean Hilliard is a living testament to the human spirit. Although her experience was mysterious, Jean was able to recuperate fully. She later got married, gave birth to multiple kids, and now resides in a small Minnesota community with them. She has spoken out openly about her experience in recent years, and her advice to others is one of hope. She often adds, "If I can get through those 15 hours in the snow, you can get through anything life throws at you." In the years that followed, Hilliard continued to live her life to the fullest. She remained active and participated in many activities, including skiing, swimming, and horseback riding. She even returned to school and earned a degree in psychology. The inspiring tale of Jean Hilliard is one of resiliency and optimism. It is very inspirational how someone could go through such a dangerous scenario and maintain their optimistic attitude. Whatever our personal life circumstances, we may always find inspiration and support from Jean's story. Her experience serves as a motivational lesson to persevere through all difficulties. Her story has inspired countless others, and it is a reminder of what can be accomplished if we never give up. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. And lastly, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next video.